everyone, if you're new to my channel, my name is Arthi. I'm a Bangladeshi senior at Stanford and I love making videos about college life, but a lot of you asked for one on college applications. So in today's video, I'm interviewing Stanford students about how they got in. I loved filming this video and hope you all like it too. So let's get into it.
Hi everyone.
Hello guys.
Hi, I'm Zarif. I'm a freshman currently studying at Stanford. I'm from Bangladesh.
I'm Juan Bautista. I'm a third-year student here at Stanford. I'm majoring in civil engineering and architecture, and I'm originally from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
I'm Rayan. I'm a sophomore here at Stanford. I'm an international student from Bangladesh where I did A-levels at Mastermind International School in Dhaka. And at Stanford, I'm planning to study either management science and engineering or computer science, but I have not declared yet.
I'm Janelle. I'm a junior studying SimSys and I'm from Miami, Florida.
I'm Yui. I'm a second year undergraduate studying symbolic system at Stanford. I came from Vietnam and I immigrated to America in 2015.
I had 4 A-levels in my 11th and 12th grade, and we did not do traditional GPAs like in American high school, but in my internal exams and predicted grades, I had a 4.0. I gave the SAT exam where I got 1540.
My SAT score was a 1570. It was a 780 in the reading section and a 790 on the math. And as for my GPA, I think it was like a 4 out of 4. I got like 4 A stars in A levels with a 95% average across all my 4 subjects, and 9 A stars in O levels as well.
Was Stanford your dream school?
No, my dream school was Brown, and Stanford was my number 3 school out of 6, and Brown was my first one.
Yes! I wanted to apply REA. RD.
I applied to Stanford regular decision just because I had another school that was at the moment my top choice, but I think I definitely ended up where I was supposed to be.
What's one thing you did in high school that you think helped your application stand out?
More than one thing, I'd say I strategized to have a central theme throughout all of my application, which was community empowerment and the fight for stopping or tackling climate change in Bangladesh. So I worked with NGO, a non-profit called Dunibar Organization, where we did a lot of volunteer work in the community. I think that played a part in my application because that had a lot of hours throughout a few years. And the second big thing that I would say I did was working on a local service project in my hometown of Faridpur, where I worked with local river tribes to help them get clean water and sanitation. I feel like the service aspect in both of those activities helped me to provide a central theme to my application, which was that I was an environmentalist and I was very interested in climate change and climate adaptation.
My Common App essay, or my main essay, and my main activity, which was marching band. So I was in marching band for all 4 years of high school, and I played the flute and the piccolo, but I was also involved in the other bands in my school. So I was in the symphonic concert band where I also played the flute and eventually played the oboe, and I was also in jazz band where I also played the flute, but sometimes I would play percussion and saxophone.
One thing I did at high school that I believe made my application stand out is the International Climate Science Olympiad. I actually did it with someone else who is currently studying at Stanford as well, one of my best friends, Rayan. We did it twice, and both the times we were like 8th out of 50,000 teams globally, so I think this was something that was very interesting.
One of the things that I would want to highlight from my application is my experience with debating throughout high school. So I started my freshman year joining the debating team and participating in national competitions. I was able to win first place for individual speaker in the regional competition in Mendoza. At the same time, I co-founded the debating club where we hosted debating sessions and where we got to participate in local tournaments within the school and just like get practice for the nationwide competition. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight the most is like being able to show progression through your activities from when you start high school towards like your last years. So from the regional competitions, we moved to some more international competitions that were hosted by a law school in my country, so a university law school. And my junior year, we were able to secure first place in the written competition and third place in the spoken competition. And then my senior year, we secured second place in the written competition and first place in the oral competition. So I think being able to show my progression throughout my years of high school with one particular activity and showing commitment and dedication throughout the 4 years was really key to my application.
How did you balance academics with extracurriculars in high school?
I did not. So, life story. Till 10th grade, I was a really good student in my school. Like, I would put all my hours into studying, into O levels, where I had like 10 classes to take, to exams to sit for, and that was a huge time commitment. But after 10th grade, I thought one day that if I continue taking like 4 or even 5 demanding A-level subjects, I'll probably not have enough time to do extracurriculars. And I thought about, well, right now at 10th grade, 1.5 years before applying, what are the extracurriculars I have? It was a very disappointing list of a few things that I had done. So I tried to focus my time from academics to extracurriculars for the last 2 years. It worked out well for me. I'm pretty sure it will not work out well for everyone. But one advice that I would say in juggling extracurriculars with academics is that try to do a mix of what I mentioned, like magnitude versus depth activities. Sometimes you should do a few activities like some Olympiads which also tie in with your academic work, which will have a huge effect courtesy of the magnitude of the work, rather than spending, every week 5 to 6 hours on 1 or 2 activities, especially when you are like sitting for exams or you get closer to applying. I feel like you have less time as you have to focus more on writing SS2, getting your recommendation letters, attending university events. So I feel like it's a good time just before the application to cut down on those high hourly commitment activities and focus on maybe academic extracurriculars that also would enrich your schoolwork. Maybe some Olympiad, maybe some computer science project, maybe some work in tutoring that you were doing to other kids that will also help you get better at studying.
Even though I'm not from rural, I was from like the immigrant town of Portland, Oregon. And so my school offered 9 APs, and I kind of like used as much resources as I could possible. Pretty much I was competing with like students from that kind of similar demographics and geography. So I realized why they chose me, because they knew I could adapt to this level of competition. And so I think you have to like, if you come from like those kind of backgrounds, like that's something you have to like deal with. They call it imposter syndrome, but like it depends on how like you frame it.
A-levels was very grueling for me. I had to work a lot, and also I had my club activities, so I had to go to school and do those club activities as well. Initially it was very difficult, but I was very consistent. Every day after coming from school, I used to read up on the material so that I did not get farther behind. And then I also used to be proactive when it came to like application materials and extracurriculars, so that I ensured that these were prioritized as well. Also looked up the Olympiads and stuff that I could do to make my application excel even more. Made sure that these were things that I actually loved, that I did not do just for the application, but rather I did because I loved it a lot.
Looking back, what's one mistake you'd avoid if you're applying again?
The mistake I made was not applying to enough colleges. You shouldn't have a favorite college, especially if like Stanford, because you don't know your luck at this. Shoot your shot, and if it misses, like no hard feelings.
Not apply to a lot of safeties, because if you are an international seeking a lot of aid, no university is actually a safety school for you. You have to ensure that even if these universities seem not so good for you, these are opportunities which will actually change the world for you if you come from a less developed country like how I did. So you have to ensure that you apply to a lot of safeties, target schools, and just only a couple reach schools, so that at the end of the application cycle you do not get rejected everywhere.
I submitted my application like the last second it was due. Stanford was, I think it was one of the last schools that I wrote all my stuff for, and because of the huge time crunch I was in, I wrote everything in one day. It didn't take a lot of thought, and I feel like I was so unconfident about what I wrote. I was just like, I don't care, I'll just submit it anyways. I know it did work out in the end, but I feel like you should still put more time into what you write.
The biggest mistake I did was not talking to students from your high school or from your country or from your community that already go to these schools. simply because these supplementals that you write, they have to be very specific. You cannot, and that's another advice, you cannot change one supplement to another just by changing a few words. That does not work well. I highly doubt that works at all, because that did not work for me. I think others will say similar stories. That said, you still need to be smart at how you apply to these colleges, and one good thing to get interesting tidbits about these colleges is talking to current people who are studying there. I wish I'd talked to more people. I just talked to one or few. I think I was in conversation with one guy from Stanford who came here before my year, so that really helped me. I think that was one of the catalysts that got me here. So I would say definitely reach out. The best thing you can do is reach out, be cordial, and wait for others to give a reply, wait for others to come to your help. So that's one advice I would give. And one mistake that I definitely made was making one body for supplemental essay and changing it for different schools, because every school will have a supplemental like why college, why major, or like why community, and I feel like each school has a different flavor for which you need to modify each essay to suit that flavor.
Not overthink every single detail of my application. Even if it's just like a word, like maybe you're thinking like, oh, should I write this differently? I feel like in the grand scheme of things, like I would just make sure that the application is solid as a whole. But I remember once I submitted my essays for the early decision and early action process, I noticed a very small typo at the end of my Common App essay, and I was like freaking out about it, thinking this is gonna be the reason why they reject me. But at the same, like the admissions officers are not gonna care too much if you just have like a very small typo. They're very understandable, and it's not gonna compromise your admissions at all. So just being able to craft a solid application as a whole is what matters the most. And obviously it is really important to like proofread everything, but if you do find like a mistake post completion of your application, it's gonna be totally fine. So just focus on the bigger picture, make sure to work hard, but once you submit it, don't look back and just don't overthink. It's gonna be okay at the end of the day.
How did you prepare for the SAT?
So for the SAT, both SAT and TOEFL, I just did, my number one recommendation is just doing as many practice exams that you can find out there. That truly is the best way to make sure that you're prepared for the conditions and the settings for the real exam. Just any test that is an official practice exam out there, I would take it and make sure that you generally go through the mistakes that you have and build upon those mistakes and make sure you 100% understand the things that you're doing wrong so you can improve them for the real exam. So yeah, just like practice is the key.
Honestly speaking, I did not prepare that much for these SATs because like this was the first time I gave my DSAT. So originally I intended it to be just a practice test before I actually gave it more in my gap year. And for the SAT, I used the Orange book and like drilled through all the maths so that my maths concept was very good. And I also used Erica Melzer books, and in particular I used to read a lot, so I believe that helped as well. Like,
What's your advice to international students applying to college?
It can be tough at times. Like it's already tough for domestic students at times, and we have to deal with additional burdens. So I think one thing that really kept me going is the fact that you're probably gonna apply to maybe 10, 15, 20 schools, and a lot of them, most of them may reject you, but in reality it just takes one university for your dream to become true. I feel like at some point it's like you become overwhelmed with so many essays that you're writing for different colleges that it's like, and you look at those acceptance rates and you're thinking like there's never going to be a chance. But in reality, even if you apply to 20 and you get rejected by 19, if you get accepted by that one school, that makes your dream completely true. And it doesn't matter whether you get accepted to 1, 5, 10. It really only takes one for all your hard work and all your effort to become a reality.
So after you press submit, like there's nothing else you can do except for apply to more and like maximize your chance. So if you're humanities, like look for liberal arts colleges too.
one advice I would give to the international applicants is that for you guys who are seeking aid and are international as well, the stakes are much higher. You have to be better than the average applicant from the US, for example, and you have to actually prove to the college why you're perfect for the college and why that college will actually be benefited by having you. As I was saying, you have to be unique, you have to be passionate in what you're gonna do, and make sure that your college selection also aligns to whatever you want to study.
Yeah, because see, this is the other thing. I think I've met a lot of people who give or say the exact opposite, but advice which is do things you like, excel really at them, and then you'll do really good in them. And when you put the genuine things you have done in your application, it will shine well and you'll get in. But I think I figured out, or I thought 2 years before I applied, that if I want to go in some of the best like STEM schools in the world, and I have to compete against like CS superstars from my country, like Olympiad winners, I would not be able to do that in the span of 2 years. So I figured out that there are equally impressive things to do, although they take, I think, a lower commitment over 2 years. And I figured on that. I tried to get the central aspect tied in with everything I do, and I think it was very strategized what I did. What I did not do, which is I think another aspect, because there are like two things. I think there's this philosophy of how do you judge activity, or how do you judge an award. There are like two metrics you can go by in college applications, which are the depth, that is, have you done this for like, let's say, 2 years, you spend 5 hours weekly on this, that's a huge time commitment. Or let's say the other aspect is I think it's called magnitude, that is the work that you did, high magnitude but maybe less in time. Let's say an economics Olympiad, you prepare for 2 months, including the aspect where you go travel and participate in the international Olympiad, but the rewards are huge. You win a medal, you're like top in the world. I feel like my application was a mix of those both, like depth and magnitude both.
What's your favorite dining hall at Stanford?
My favorite dining hall is probably Wilbur Dining, which is probably, I would say as a general consensus, the best dining hall on campus. They serve really high quality food and it makes me really happy. And it's real close to my dorm, so it's very convenient as well.
Arriaga is pretty good because it's pretty big, and it's like I don't really interact. I don't really meet other people from my dorm. I get to meet new people. So yeah.
You know, my favorite dining hall used to be Lakeside, but that's only because I was close to it. And everybody says it's terrible, but I couldn't see it because their hash browns were crunchy, and I loved them. But now I guess I could change my answer to Wilbur since I go there almost every day.
Stern's S. It's because Stern is more consistent. Wilbur, even though Wilbur would say, oh, it's the best when it's like really good, I would say it's, from what I eat, it's, the protein option is not as diverse. It's like Stern has more diverse options, and it's consistent every time.
Was definitely Wilbur last year, but this year I think Flomo tops it a bit. Every time I've been to Flomo, I have had good food. Wilbur, it's a bit too crowded because it's very popular, East Campus and all that. But every time I've been to Flomo, it's quieter, less people, nicer food, better tasting food because they cook in smaller batches for sure. But so it's Wilbur or Flomo battling out the top spot.
Your favorite study spot at Stanford?
My favorite spot is Y32. It's the civil engineering building here on campus near the engineering quad. It's the building for my major, so I love it very much.
Branner Art Sciences Library. No one goes there. It's very quiet. No one even knows where it is, which is the saddest part. And from there, they have these like huge windows where you can see amazing sunsets. I mean, you can see that screen too. You can see amazing sunsets. You can see all of main quad, and it's very quiet. No one goes there. It's like a small study spot. And also they have those hole-in-the-wall library spots where you can study, which is like taken straight out of Harry Potter and all those like movies you see. You have stacks of books, and then at the end of the row you have a small study spot where you can like plug your computer in and study.
It changes from year to year. First it was Huang, the engineering building, and now it's the Green Library because I'm depressed.
It's GSB at night because most of the libraries are usually closed. at night. So what I do is like I sneak in whenever some guy from GSB goes out and stay there the whole night if I need to, because that's a really quiet spot and nobody goes there.
Okay, this is an important one. How did you handle rejections or setbacks along the way?
I think those rejections can be one of the tougher moments because you sort of start doubting on your performance in your application materials, which is totally normal. But I think it's really important not to let yourself down, because one school may like reject you, but the other one with the exact same application will think that you're like the best applicant and will like accept you right away. So one or two rejections, as you know, those first like decisions start coming out, really they don't set the tone for the rest of your overall performance. Like I got rejected by more than 10 schools in a row, and then Stanford was the very last one, and it accepted me. So it really, like, even if you do face some rejections in the beginning, it really is not the end of your journey. So I think it's just like, what matters is that you keep pushing through and you keep like growing your application, and just like maintain a positive attitude. It's easier said than done, but it is true that it's not going to be the end of the world.
Like a complex where you're like, oh, if I have this, like my life would be like so awesome, it would be over. And it's just like you get here and you're like, dang, I'm here, but like you're always wanting more of something, and you're like, oh, if I have another one, I'll be satisfied. But then you realize you're never satisfied, and that's like I think that could relate to a lot of people, right?
It can be really overwhelming at times, dealing with so many things at once. Like, you're dealing with all your extracurriculars, your academics, on top of actually preparing the application itself. So I understand how overwhelming it can be, but it's like, it really is 100% worth it after everything is done and you get your results. And especially if your results are positive, it's just like, you're gonna be like, I'm so glad I did all that work, because I got to be where I am right now because of all the hard work that I put initially. So it is like 1,000% worth it to put in that effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.